Hey everybody, I guess we're live. Are we live? Let's see here. How's everybody doing today? Happy Sunday. Give me a thumbs up if you guys can hear me okay, please. Just so I know. In the meantime. So are we live, guys? Are we live? Could you hear me? Give me a thumbs up, please. Just want to make sure I have all my connections okay because I was messing around with them yesterday. Sometimes I hear myself, but then maybe you guys can't hear me. So all good? All good. All right, Jeff, thank you. Thank you for that thumbs up. How's everybody doing today? Good morning. Happy Sunday. Happy Easter. I hope you guys are doing all very well. I hope you guys are not... preoccupied enough with the whole family thing that you don't have time for me this morning. I'm glad that you guys have tuned in, and hopefully more of you will trickle in. I know it's a busy day for a lot of people, but hey, we always have time for a little gear chat. And if you guys can sacrifice a little bit of time in your Sunday schedule, even if you guys pop in, stick around a little bit and leave, that's all good. At least you guys have the opportunity to say hello and catch a little bit of chit chat. And then if you gotta go, it's okay. We got the recording. You guys could hear what's going on later on and catch up on the chat. So thank you all for being here today. For the newcomers that are here, Addicted to Gear live Sunday show. All about gear, guys. It's basically pretty simple. We talk about guitars, gear. We talk about what's new in the music industry, what's happening. Talk about some stuff about, just latest news. And we make it fun. So if you guys want to tune in regularly, it's Sunday morning, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Always on the same YouTube channel. And join us and make some friends. It's all good. So let's see who's here today. So Cushman, Jack, Randy. Let's say hello to Fat Philosopher, Vox Guitars Rock, Bruce, Gene. Hey, Gene. The Nye is here as well. Christian is here. Nice to see you, Christian. Andy, Gospel of Mark, Joyce, Jeff. A lot of guys are here. Dan of New Jersey. Good. I'm happy to see you guys all here today. Let's see. What are we going to talk about? We have lots to talk about. But first, I want to see what you guys have to talk about. So jump in if you have anything new that you'd like to share with the group today. Anything interesting happened to you? Anything new? Anything gear related? It's always welcome. So don't be shy. Say hello and tell us what's going on. I'm playing today. I just dusted off this made in Mexico 60s Strat that I had. The reason why is because I popped in some new pickups in this guitar, and I really like this guitar. It's a like I said, a Mexican 60s 3-tone sunburst, really nice. This has a nice a little bit of a beefier neck. I have a 60s made in Japan version, which is almost identical, and if you look at it with the naked eye, you probably wouldn't really be able to tell the differences because they're almost identical, but the neck is different. The neck on this one is a little bit beefier, which I like, so it's nice to have the thinner neck, the thicker neck, and definitely different pickups in both of these. And in here I have a set of Peg City. They're called VS61s. The original pickup, the original guitar when I bought it came with a set of Lawler pickups in it. And I didn't really bond with those pickups, so I sold them. And I now have a nice set of Peg City 61s, which are not super expensive, but they have a nice sound to them. Definitely. like about these pickups specifically is they have a nice kind of compression when you dig in. But when you play them soft, especially the neck, and I gotta clean out the pot on the volume. It kind of dies out on me sometimes. Nice sounding pickups, and I'm liking it. I'm liking these pickups in this guitar. I don't play this guitar enough, so I decided I need to play it a little bit more, so I broke it out today. John says he installed Fender Custom Shop Fat 50's wired pick guard. And so, John, how do you like them? What is your feedback on those pickups? St. Brando says that Jackson guitar in the background screams Jack Butler. Right there. Yeah, that's a, you know, that Jackson, which I did a review on, it's great value for the money. I mean, it's a $199 guitar, brand new, I think. And I swapped the pickups in that guitar, and it's a great guitar. I like it a lot. You know, whenever you see a guitar like that around those prices, just grab them, because you can't buy parts to build a guitar like that for under that price. And you're getting a finished guitar, paint jobs done and everything, all the hardware. Yeah, you can upgrade stuff on it, but honestly, they're a steal. And they're good quality guitars. You know, if you want to do something to them, if you want to go crazy and install a Floyd Rose or something in there, you can do that too. But I'm happy with just a pickup upgrade generally in that guitar. So yeah, good eyes there. Ed says he ordered an Eastwood Delta 6 resonator yesterday, hopefully here this week. Ed, generally, what are the delays in ordering guitars from Eastwood? I'm curious to know. If you ordered it yesterday and you're gonna be getting it this week, I'm assuming they don't have any issues with their supply chain, which is great. Because a lot of people are having issues. You know, I'm hearing a lot of people telling me that they've ordered guitars or parts, especially electronic components, something like if you're looking multi-effects, that kind of thing. There's a delay, and no pun intended, but you gotta wait. You're on a waiting list. So if you're getting it fast like that, that's great. It means everything's good on that side. Awesome. Alan says he bought a used EVH 5150 black poplar burl guitar last weekend. Not a scratch on it. Came with a Gator hardshell case. Very good price. So Alan, you want to give us a hint to what price range you paid for that guitar? You don't have to be precise to the penny, but just more or less give us an idea. If you got that guitar and it came with a nice Gator hard shell case, that's a pretty good find. It's a pretty good snag. I love the Gator cases, by the way. If any of you know, those hard shell Gator cases, I think, are a really good buy. I always scour the used market for them if I find one that's not too expensive. What I mean by not too expensive is under $200, because now I think they're going for about $200. I grab them because they're great cases, very solidly made, and I like the fact that they're molded, because here in Canada, especially during the colder time of year, like winter time, you know, when you're carrying stuff and there's blowing snow and sleet and stuff, I feel my guitars a lot more solidly protected with a nice molded case as opposed to a regular case with the Tolex. I find that water seeps in a little bit more, and those Gator cases seem to be a little bit more hermetically sealed in my opinion. I think the worst cases you can buy, they're not necessarily ugly, they're nice. They're the Tolex cases that have you know, the vintage what do you call that, the Tolex, the like the old Fender cases. I'm getting a brain fart here. The say it, you guys, remind me. the the tweed cases. Those cases are really nice, but they don't work really well. The tweed gets wet easily, and it keeps the moisture in. And I've actually had some of those cases that even have developed like a mold issue over time, which I kind of don't really like because it keeps the moisture for whatever reason. So I kind of stay away from those. Let's see here. BC Rich. Dodd is apparently gone now. Wonder if there was a buyer or they just pulled the plug on the line. It might also impact the used market a bit as well. That's news to me. Wow. I wonder what happened there. Digitech, huh? I don't, honestly, I haven't really bought anything from Dodd or Digitech in years. The last unit I ever tried from Digitech was a delay unit, but it was a rack. It was a big rack unit. It sounded good, but that was many, many moons ago. So I don't know if it's just because they weren't really resonating with the customers as much. I don't know how many people actually were, loyal to the Dodd brand. I never really considered them to be extremely good. Mold is not a good thing. It's really difficult to get mold out of a case. And, I've done it. I've done it in the past. The best thing to get rid of mold actually is UV. So keeping the case in the sunshine. But they do have some products that you can use if you have mold issues that you can spray on. And it kind of kills the mold. But once mold is in there, man, I don't want to touch it. So I kind of get rid of them. If I ever have any issues like that, you just get rid of it. Bad Monkey is my favorite pedal. I kind of like those pedals too. Very underrated pedal, but it sounds good. I don't know if the pedals will go up in price. Probably not, Fat Philosopher. But if you have one and you like it, or if you can get them for less expensive now, grab them. It's always a good time. Dan says tweed cases don't hold up very well and absorb moisture. It's a fabric, so expected. Wonder if you could lacquer them. That's the general gist of a tweed case. You got to lacquer them. Some of them don't come lacquered. I think I have 2 cases like that right now that are not lacquered. So what I tend to do is I keep my guitars in the case at home, but whenever I go out with a guitar, I take it out of that case and I put it into a gator case, just because I feel it's just protected a lot better than you can get with a tweed case like that. Paul says the J-Rocket El Hombre, a Billy Gibbons in a box, just came out. Yeah, I saw that, Paul. I actually watched some videos because I really like the Billy Gibbons tone, but I wasn't that impressed with that particular pedal yet. I don't know if it was just the video review. Maybe, sometimes the video review doesn't necessarily present the product in the best sound quality. So I'm going to wait and watch for a couple more just to see. I guess it also depends what amp you're playing it with. That changes the tone tremendously. So it's hard to tell sometimes from video reviews what the real tone is that you're getting out of it. But I'm keeping my eye on it. I'm curious about it, but I'm not convinced yet to pull the trigger. Saint Brando says, my Gibson cases are made in Canada and they're great. I don't think the new ones are made in Canada anymore. Could be. It could be that they're made in China. Everything's made in China today. So I wouldn't be surprised. If you have some good cases, yeah, definitely you want to hang on to those. If you guys, just so you know, if you guys want to support the channel, I'm going to say it at the beginning. If you want to support the channel, the best way of supporting the Addicted to Gear channel is to spread the word. Obviously, show your support by giving thumbs up so it appeases the YouTube gods and ranks the video a little higher so more people could see it. Of course, if you want to grab some swag, you're more than welcome to grab some swag. If you want to do a super chat to support the channel, that's always appreciated as well. All right, guys? Just want to say it, throw it out there so everybody is aware. And of course, the thumb up always helps while we're doing the live chats, right? So feel free to go thumb crazy if you wish. Keith says, got a Mustang Bullet, sparkle blue, great paint job, no flaws, very little fret sprout, a hair too much, relief, gritty frets, 3 strings, great intonation, too close, one, LOL, tuners, not great, 190 bucks. So it seems to me, Keith, that, you know, for 190 bucks, it's a good modding platform, probably. You know? I like guitars like that for modding. That's my opinion on those. I just like to do a lot of different things with the guitars. Right now, I know that, you know, like I mentioned last Sunday, when spring comes around, I go a little bit mod crazy. And what I like to do is I like to play around with a lot of guitars that I have that are a little bit less expensive, maybe not ideal, and need a little TLC. So I get creative with them and do my upgrades. So I have a couple of things in mind. One of the guitars actually that I want to upgrade is the EART or ERT guitar that I showed you guys a couple of weeks back. I did a review on that guitar. That was the Telecaster. Overall, very good guitar. I'm not knocking that guitar at all. The only thing, of course, as you probably guessed, is the pickups that I'd like to upgrade. So I bought a set of these BYO guitar pickups. They're the Vortex ones. I don't know if you guys know this website, Build Your Own Guitar, BYO Guitar. They have a bunch of stuff on the website, but a lot of people don't know that they also have pickups, and they're not that expensive. So these pickups are going to be going into that EART guitar. Let me just show you the pickups. It's a standard, they look like standard, you know, Telecaster pickups, as you can see there. Nice quality from what I can tell. If you look at the back, let me show you the back. You know, it's vintage braided wire. You have the nice metallic back on the bridge pickup there. Look very vintagey to me. And I want to put them in. I want to try and upgrade that guitar because honestly, it's a great playing guitar. I like it a lot. And these pickups are wax potted. They're using A3 magnets, and the resistance on them, I think the neck pickup is about a 7.1. The neck pickup is 7.1. The bridge pickup is 8.9, and plain enamel 43 gauge wire. So I'm gonna be putting those in. I'm gonna be checking out the quality of the sound once they're in there. Hopefully that guitar will be even better. I like those guitars. It's too bad that they're going up in price. The EART guitars were very inexpensive, and now, possibly due to the YouTubers like me, unfortunately, I guess the cat is out of the bag and a lot of people are snagging them. Prices are going up. Maybe you can still get one for a decent price, but it seems to be going up. I'd love to get my hands on a Strat version. We'll see what happens there. Okay, so let's... Okay, so Ben wants to know what model Stratocaster is that you have in your hands. So this is a 60s 3-tone sunburst, made in Mexico Strat. You can see it's got the vintage appointment, spaghetti logo, no truss rod adjustment over here. Truss rod is down here. You know, standard, no skunk stripe in the back. It's a great guitar. I think you can maybe still get these guitars for under $1,000, I hope, because they're great. I really like the 3-tone sunburst. I like the neck. This is before they were using alternate materials for the neck. So this is actually rosewood, which I like. Vintage tuners. The guy that I bought this from, for whatever strange reason, what did he do on this guitar? I don't know what he did, but anyways, I think he sanded off the serial number for whatever reason. I think he wanted people to believe that it was not A made in Mexico version. Oh man, this is the only thing. Listen, I gotta use some pot cleaner on this thing. Anyways, great sounding guitar. I like it a lot. And yeah, we're gonna be doing a full review of the Peg City V pickups, the VS pickups. Those pickups, by the way, guys, if you're ever interested in upgrading your guitar, are a great option because they're pretty inexpensive and they sound really good. They are, just to give you a little bit of feedback, no pun intended, on the pickups. They're vintage voiced, and they seem to be using a 42 gauge heavy form wiring to make the wraps, but the outputs on the pickups are not extremely hot. They're 6.2K in the neck position, middle position, and 6.5K in the bridge position, so they're not overwound, and they are using Alnico 5 magnets, you know, so they're a great alternative to do I have my other guitar here? Let me just see. Oh man, I'm always missing a guitar I want to show you, because I have another guitar very similar to this one, almost identical as I mentioned, but it's not on the rack. Otherwise, I'd show you the difference with the pickup sounds. But you get the idea. All right, so Julio says Floyd Rose, Goto versus Schaller versus original. Pros and cons of each. Oh, all right. That's a pretty in-depth question there. In my opinion, my experience is that those three versions are pretty nice. Yeah, I don't think you could really go wrong with either one of those. Okay. The tricky part, obviously, is the Floyds that are out there. There's a lot of counterfeit stuff floating around, so it depends where you buy your Floyd from. I would recommend avoiding buying anything on eBay because there's too many like counterfeits floating around. If you're not sure what you're buying, it's easy to get taken. If you're going to buy a Floyd, buy directly from the Floyd Rose website. The Goto stuff is really good in terms of quality. The Schaller stuff is really good. I have both a Schaller on one of my guitars and an original Floyd on another. They're both, in my opinion, equally good. The stuff to stay away from is the Floyd specials and those type of things. They're typically not made with the same quality metal. They're not as good. So you might save some money, but honestly, I don't think it's worth it. When it comes to a Floyd, spend the extra dough, and trust me, you're going to have less issues in terms of tunability, longevity, and just overall quality, and also resale value, believe it or not. So that's my opinion, Julio. I don't know if that helps you out or not. Let me know. The Flyron says, hello, Tony. Thoughts on the new Kramer Pacer Classic guitars? Yeah, I like them. I like those guitars. I always felt that the Pacer was an interesting guitar, even the original versions. I'm happy that, because Kramer now, if I'm not mistaken, is owned by Gibson, right? So I'm happy that Gibson is actually trying to revive the Kramer brand and putting out new versions. I don't feel like they're overly priced at this point. I know the vintage stuff, if you come across a vintage Kramer Pacer, they're pretty expensive. So in my opinion, I think they're good value for the money if you like that style. Let's see here. Surferby says, just checking out that BYO site, looks pretty good. As an alternate to Wormouth, I've been looking to build a PRS clone soon. Yeah, man. There's a lot of great little sites that are not as well known as Wormouth, and you can get some decent quality parts without spending an arm and a leg. And I agree with what Fat Philosopher said, Julio. The Goto stuff is generally a little less expensive. and in my opinion, just as good. Bruce says, I have a 1960s Strat for sale if anyone is interested, all original except for tuners, but replacements are original Kluson style. There you go. So, hey, if anybody's looking for a nice Strat, ping Bruce. Bruce, I don't know if you want to mention, you know, what kind of price range you're looking for on it. If you feel like giving us that info, then please do. If you don't, that's okay. But you might be able to entice somebody if you give us an idea of the ballpark you're looking at for that guitar. Presley, California Customs Wormouth is top quality though. I trust them. It's just so expensive. And if I'm not mistaken, it's getting even more expensive. So the best time to buy a guitar is today. Actually, it was yesterday because the prices keep going up. But I agree. The Wormouth stuff, great, beautiful, very expensive. I guess the old adage, you get what you pay for, still applies on those. Okay, let me just scroll down. Rico B says, Tony, sorry if I missed it. How did your band practice go with the Silver Sky? Thank you for reminding me, Rico. Yeah, I like that guitar, man. I really do. It was really a pleasure to play that guitar in a live scenario. I was getting great sounds out of it, and people were like complimenting me on the sounds. Not so much the color, though. A friend of mine, the drummer, of course, the wise guy drummer, says, do they make those guitars for men? He was making fun of me, guys. You know, this is the kind of physical, verbal abuse that I have to take. No, honestly, guys, the guitar was really nice. I'm bonding with the guitar a lot. I like it. I would actually consider buying one. You know, because this is a loaner. It's not mine. I'd consider buying one. I probably wouldn't buy the same color. And that is the big lacking point right now with the Silver Sky SEs is the color. I don't feel like I'm bonding with any of the colors in particular. What do they have? They have green, they have purple, and they have a, what do they call it? Moon or something? Moon gray? Something like that. So that's the big disadvantage. I'm almost tempted to wait till they come out with more colors, but who knows when that's going to be. But as far as the guitar playability and sound goes, really nice guitar, man. Like, I know a lot of people knock it. I understand why. But in my honest, like unbiased opinion, I'm not getting paid for this or anything. I like it a lot. And I don't usually say that too easily. So that's my opinion. I will be doing the review for you guys on that guitar. So stay tuned for that, all right? I just wanted to kick it around the block in a live scenario first, just to get a better understanding of the pros and cons on that guitar. Honestly, there's not that many cons, except for maybe the color and the price. So Joseph is asking me, did you keep your Silver Sky? Like I said, Joseph, it's not mine to keep. I didn't actually buy that guitar. It's a loaner. Just I wanted to try it, and I basically got it as a loaner. So I'm gonna have to give it back. But you know, if I did buy it and it was the color that I wanted, I'd definitely keep it. Yeah, I would keep it. Gene says, I have an ERT gem guitar with an FR special. I always lock them down. I didn't know ERT made a Floyd Rose version. Interesting, Gene. Where did you find that? All right. Let's see. I learned something new from you guys. Okay. Let's see here. What am I missing? What am I missing? Fat Philosopher said he had a Kramer back in the 80s. You sold it, Fat Philosopher? You got over that Kramer period in your life? Everybody should own it. Everybody should own a Kramer eventually once, at least once. Hey, Mark. Mark says, did a 3-hour gig with a PRS SE yesterday. Rock solid. So how did it go? I assume you rocked the house, Mark. Everything went the way you expected. Did you do an acoustic? It was a total acoustic set, or did you actually play, you know, with an electric guitar as well? Because I know you do have, if I'm not mistaken, a PRS acoustic as well, right? Gene says, I have some Erts they sold me that were old pre-stainless stock. How long ago was that, Gene? When did you get those? Interesting. Saint Brando was saying something earlier. I may get some hate on this, but a Strat has to say Fender. PRS should have been a little bit more creative. So that's the general comments that we get on the Silver Sky. You know, in my opinion, I totally understand, you know, Saint Brando's point of view, and I had the same point of view when I actually saw the guitar for the first time. I wasn't really convinced, and I looked at it, I'm like, why are they trying to copy Fender? You know, why don't they just do their own thing? But after playing the guitar, you know, to me, it's not really a Fender. It's still a PRS guitar. You know, Fender does the Fender thing, PRS does the PRS thing. It's close, but it's still, in my opinion, not a Fender. It feels different. I wouldn't say it feels like a Fender. But it doesn't feel bad, in my opinion. You know, if it would suck, I would tell you guys it sucks. You know, the surprising thing is when I played that guitar in here in the studio, I felt the pickups could have sounded a little bit better. That they were a bit bitey, but in a live scenario, they sounded great. So I don't know, guys. I mean, take it, you know, some people like it, some people don't. I'm not here to convince you either way. I'm just here to present, you know, a guitar the way I see it, give you my opinion on it. And obviously, if it's not for you, it's not for you. That's okay, man. I'm not here to try and change your mind. I'm just here to present the facts, kind of. And like Alan says, don't knock it till you try it. Because honestly, if I picked up a US made Silver Sky in a store because I was curious, and although it's a nice guitar, I would not pay that kind of money. Sorry, I can't, you know. So I just put it back. You know, it wasn't talking to me. But the SE, you know, at about $1,400, and hopefully you can get it for cheaper used. It's a decent guitar, guys. It's not a bad guitar at all. So, like I said, like Alan said, don't knock it till you try it. Give it a kick the tires on it if you can, and then make up your mind. Today's take said, I would like the SE pickups. Do they sell just the pickups? I don't know. That's a great question. I haven't really seen PRS selling pickups alone. I don't think they do that. You can probably get them on the used market because a lot of people actually don't like the PRS pickups. And, you know, on a lot of other models, I wasn't a big fan of all the pickups that they offered. So you could probably get some good quality aftermarket, not aftermarket, but used pickups on eBay if you're looking for them. But I don't think you can buy them directly from PRS. I don't think they do that. John says, Tony, I have the PRS Santana Abraxas model. It says it has Santana pickups, right? So I have my pedal set up. Also have the Tom Tone Effects, Brazil Mark 1, King Snake Mesa Boogie Mark 1, and he says great. So I guess you're a big you're a big Santana fan. If you're going all out and you have the Santana Abraxas and you do have the Mesa Mark 1, that you're basically going after the Santana tone. So I can see why you're happy with that. Great setup. That's really impressive. You must have paid at least one kidney for all that stuff, John. But you know, if you're happy, that's fantastic. So John says, so I put on a Santana backing track and play sounds, but when I switched to my PRS SE Custom 24 with the same pedal settings, sounds much better than the Santana model. Thought it was pretty funny. Really, sounds better, huh? I don't know if that would make me laugh, because you're paying a lot of money to get that tone, and the other one sounds better. Maybe it's just preference, you know, maybe you just like the sound better, but the Santana sound to me is very, very nasally in a certain way. So I like the tone. I mean, I like the tone a lot, but if you really listen to the Santana sound, it's really like mid-focused, a little nasally in my opinion. Ed says, did the Silver Sky quack in position 2 and 4? It actually did, Ed. That's the cool thing. I was getting plenty of quack, and it sounded really punchy with the drive. You know, it was very flexible in terms of the tonality that it was offering. That's what I really, really liked about it, you know? So I don't know, man. I don't know what to do now. It's like now I'm gassing over a Silver Sky. Lord help me. Did I like the neck? Yeah, I liked all of the positions were very, very usable. You know, like on a Strat, sometimes you do have a lacking position. There's always going to be something you actually like better. That guitar was giving different sounds in all the positions, and they all sounded good, which impressed me because I was ready to, you know, I feel the Achilles heel on a lot of PRS guitars are the pickups. So I was ready to feel the same way about the Silver Sky. And I don't think if I would buy that guitar, I don't think I would change the pickups on it. And I rarely say that, guys. You know me. So there you go. Take it for what it is. Tonefish says, John Meir, hire a Fender master builder and build your own custom shop Strat. You can definitely do that. Yeah. And if you know what you're doing, you can build your own. You can build your own Strat. Alan says, it's funny, some guitars that were never on my radar, I would end up buying because I was able to try them out in a store, like the EVH. Never would have bought if I didn't try it. Same here, Alan. Same here. I did exactly. I bought a Wolfgang Stealth model when I was in Vegas one year. A friend of mine were bored. We went to a Guitar Center shop, tried out some of the gear there. They had the EVH Wolfgang Stealth guitar, which I'm not a big fan of the shape. You know, I'm going to be honest. I was never a big fan of that shape. And I tried it and I loved it. And I bought it, and I wanted to buy it on the spot, but I had no way of getting it back in one piece on the plane. So I kind of let it go, but I kept thinking about it, and when I came back, I found someone selling one locally, and I bought it. And I really liked that guitar. It has its own little quirks, but it was a really solidly built guitar. The only reason I got rid of it was because it was a Stealth model, and I didn't realize how quickly the paint buffs up. So with the Stealth model, the paint is flat, right? And where your arm's rubbing against the guitar tends to buff the paint job, so you have like matte and then you have shiny spots. And I wasn't a big fan of that. So I said to myself, I'm going to sell it before I actually get it too buffed up and eventually buy another one that isn't a Stealth model. But I haven't gotten around to doing that. But a solid guitar overall. Yeah, Gene, please do post a few pictures of your the Earth Gem. I'm curious to see what it looks like. Haven't seen that one. Let's see here. Let me just scroll down. I'm going to scroll down to the bottom. If I skip your comment, I'll get back to it. If not, just please repost it. Vox says, I would never have bought a Martin Dreadnought Jr. until I played and heard one. Then I had to have it. Couple of guitars like that, you know. Same with the one I just bought, the Epiphone, the Hummingbird. I had tried a Hummingbird, a real Hummingbird in the shop, in the store. Again, very expensive. It was pushing $4,000. But overall, I wasn't overly impressed with the sound on that guitar. It just seemed a little bit too bloated sounding, and it wasn't as dynamic as I expected it to be. And I was rather disappointed. I said, man, for $4,000, is this the best they can do? And then I tried a Hummingbird from Epiphone, and I'm not a huge fan of Epiphone. As a matter of fact, this is the very first Epiphone I've ever purchased, and it blew me away. I love that guitar. And I have a Martin, and the Martin sounds great, don't get me wrong. Totally different sounds on both guitars, but the Hummingbird sounds really good. So, you know, you got to be careful when you walk into a music store, guys, because sometimes you get blindsided and you end up looking at a guitar that you never would have considered buying, you know. Ryan says, I had a cool find yesterday. Marshall Custom Shop 50th Anniversary JCM1 Tube Mini Stack. The shop had it in storage, brand new, unopened for 10 years. They even gave me 40% off retail. Man, Ryan, dude, go buy a lottery ticket. That's a really, really nice find, dude. How did you, I mean, I don't understand how they had that for 10 years. And they never got rid of it. Wow. Really cool. Mark says, Tony, I do own a PRS acoustic. I used to gig with it. I switched to the PRS SE hollow body, 2 piezo sounds, just like an acoustic. Then I switched to an electric pickup for solos. Awesome. So you're really getting a lot of mileage out of that, the SE hollow body. Really nice. Nice setup there you have. Unfortunately, I don't have, the only hollow body I have is an SE, the Zach Myers version, which I actually like a lot. It doesn't really sound like a hollow body to me, but it does have a lot more, how can I put this? It's a livelier guitar, I guess, because it is semi-hollow, and you know, the story with semi-hollows, they tend to pick up a lot more of the vibrations because the sound kind of vibrates the body and kind of activates it a little bit more. But I never had problems with any kind of feedback on that guitar. You know, like when you play with a 335, sometimes if you play with a lot of gain, you do tend to get a little bit more feedback. But on that one, it's very controllable. But I also have pickups on that guitar that are not overly wound. They're actually underwound. Sanford Magnetics wound those pickups for me, and it sounds really good in that guitar. It really lets the sound of the guitar through. Jeff wants to know if I have any experience with an SG, Tony. I'm going to get one, I think, 2 humbuckers, standard or single, P90 Junior. I never owned, Jeff, I never owned an SG. I've always, I've tried the guitar many times, never bonded with it. I just don't feel like the shape and the thickness of the body, to me, it feels a little bit odd. I'm not used to that kind of shape. So I never actually bought one. Although the Epiphone stuff that's coming out now, inspired by, I have seen some nice SGs with the P90s on them. And I know SGs are not always really associated with P90s, but I really like the look of some of those guitars, and I really like P90s. I've seen them with 1 P90 and 2. I'm keeping my eye out for some of those, because they're coming out with some cool colors as well. And I might eventually pick one up just to round off the guitars that I have, because I never had one. So that's as far as my experience goes with SGs. Jeff, sorry. Tom says, as of 2 minutes ago, there were 1,355 new and used PRS pickups on Reverb. There you go. So either a lot of people are unhappy with their PRS pickups and selling them, but I think you answered our question from earlier. You can probably grab stuff right off Reverb. I usually don't think of Reverb. I never really shop on Reverb, so I'm glad you brought that up, Tom. Thank you for that. The Flyrin is asking if you've ever tried any of the Marshall DSL line. Yes, I have, of course. The DSL Marshalls are usually pretty popular. You see a lot of them on the used market. I had a 2000 at one point, a head that I purchased and I sold. I've tried a lot of combos, and you know, it's a love-hate thing with the DSL line. I would say they're good in the sense that, you know, they're not going to let you down in terms of reliability. I don't think. At least I haven't had any experience with poor craftsmanship on the DSL line. They're easy to find. They're relatively affordable, but in my opinion, they're a little limited in terms of the sound. They don't necessarily give you a great clean sound, at least not the clean I'm looking for. And the drive sound, you know, it's okay. It's not a bad amplifier at all, but I'm more vintagey. So I like in the back of me there, I have you can see it there, the Marshall Studio Plexi. And I have the Friedman Dirty Shirley, and I have a Brunetti Plexi Man. In my opinion, all of those amps blow the DSL out of the water. So it depends on your budget, obviously. They're not in the same price range. So the a DSL combo will get you there in terms of a decent gigging amp. But once you start getting a little bit more specific about your sound, you will probably find that the DSL line has some limitations. Not to be rude or anything, like if any of you have the DSLs, you know, they're not bad amps. Just in my opinion, you kind of, at least for me, I've kind of outgrown them. So I don't think I'd go back to a DSL. Let's see here. Joseph says Epiphone Hummingbird Acoustic and Epiphone Classic Les Pauls are decent. Yeah, they are decent. I think so. Let's see. Question for anyone. Let's see here. Hello, friends. Question for anyone. Are there pedal boards or sound effect pedals that make a guitar sound like keyboard with special effects like keyboards have, and all of the voices? Yeah, there is. It's a Roland guitar synth. That's the guitar setup that you would want. That was a guitar synth setup that was around in the early 80s. I'm gonna say. I don't know if. I think there's probably still systems like that allow you to connect the guitar through MIDI to keyboard effects. So that's probably your best bet if you really want to have all the effects in terms of what you would get from keyboards. There is a pedal made by Electro-Harmonix. I forget the name of it now. Somebody might be able to look it up for you, which does a decent job of sounding like an organ. But I don't think you have much more sounds available besides just an organ sound. So if you're looking at real like synth sounds, or maybe horns or violins and all that kind of stuff, you probably will have to end up getting a guitar synth. That's the only option that I know of. Unless I'm wrong, guys, you can correct me. But that's what I know of right now. Jack Collins says, Tony, my wife finally confessed to me she gave $50 for my Epiphone Les Paul Standard in a garage sale. What? Oh, man. Jack. She confessed. All right. $50, huh? Well, somebody walked away as a happy camper. That's a sad story. Sorry to hear that, Jack. Hey, Gussie. Nice to see you. Thank you for dropping in. Lion King. It's okay, dude. Don't worry about being late. We still got time. Mark says people can't believe when I play the Hollow Body 2 because the piezo sounds great, just like an acoustic. They're baffled. Then you turn the electric volume up and you are in electric ladyland. you know, I'm happy that you're telling me this, because I've honestly haven't had the opportunity to find a guitar that has a good quality piezo that really does sound acoustic. It always sounds a little bit more rounded and plasticky to me. So if you're telling me that they did a good job with the piezos, I'm really happy to hear that, Mark. If ever I do need that, like an acoustic electric combo like that, maybe I'll consider that. Keith says Dylan Talks Tone YouTube channel, and he makes pickups. He makes pickups for Silver Sky. He says sound close to the expensive model. I did not check out price. Okay, thanks for letting us know. Down in New Jersey, I think Nugent stuffs his hollow body with some sort of stuff to combat feedback. Probably some duck feathers or something that he got from hunting, because he's a crazy hunter too, right? Yeah, John. John is giving us some advice. He says, careful with the SGs. They are neck heavy, very uncomfortable to me. Apparently not all of them, John. So I think it really depends on which ones you get, and you're gonna have to kiss a lot of frogs before you find the right one. But I do agree with you. Quite a few of the SGs that I've tried had neck dive, and that was one of the reasons why I didn't like them. But I know some other people that have SGs, and they say that there's no neck dive on their particular models, and they're pretty happy with them. So there you go. Gussie wants to know if I've assembled the pre-cut cab. I forgot the company name. Yeah, I did. I did assemble it. I actually covered it in Tolex. I actually had a really nice vintage grill cloth that I purchased, and I covered the front of the grill with this. And then when I went to put it in, it was too tight because the thickness of the grill, it's actually, that particular kit is actually designed to not use a thick grill cloth. It's actually designed to use like cloth, and I used like a wicker type grill cloth, which ended up being overall too thick to stick the baffle back in. So that's another project that I need to finish. What I'm going to end up doing is I'm actually going to put I'm going to take it off, and I'm going to put the wicker grill cloth on the back of it, and I'm going to just chamfer. I'm going to route out the front wooden piece that's actually should be in the back, paint it black, and put it in. So it's going to look nice, but I haven't gotten around to doing it. That's another project I need to do. It's coming, and once it's finished, I'm going to load up a speaker in there, and I'm going to show you the finished work on that. There's a lot of projects I've started, guys, so that I don't necessarily have that much free time to finish a lot of stuff. So unfortunately, I try and get to it when I can, and there's always something to do. So that's going to be something I'll show you once I'm done. But I'm glad you watched that, and you definitely you remembered. So it's all cool. For those of you who missed that, there's a video on that as well if you're interested in building your own cab. Let me look at some of the other comments. Gussie says he loves SGs, finds them very comfortable. Ryan says, have you tried the Origin Marshall line? Ryan, I have not tried the Origin Marshall. And there's a lot of controversy on that particular Marshall, because some people love it, some people hate it. And I think what Marshall tried to do with that particular line is to build a solid pedal platform. And I think the people that are not happy with the Marshall Origin line are not happy with it because they expect to have that nice Marshall gain, which they don't necessarily get right away with that Marshall. But if you put pedals in front of it, it's a great platform, and it's not very expensive. You find those Marshall Origins being sold for not too much money. So no, the answer is I haven't tried. I haven't tried one because I'm really happy with my Marshall Studio Plexi. So I haven't really felt the need to go check out an Origin. But I have noticed a lot of feedback and different opinions on that particular Origin. Joseph says the Orion Green is attractive on the US Core Silver Sky, but the Evergreen SE is bad. But with Epiphone, the Hummingbird and Classic Les Pauls are good. I have the green one, and I agree. It's not like the color kind of grows on you, but not really. Does that make any sense? Kind of. It's like when you look at it for a while, you're like, yeah, no. You know, it's still, the jury's out on that color. Gussie says, love my Dirty Shirley 2 and the DSL 401. So you got your bases covered with both of those amps. And Mark says he wants an SG so bad, small guard 61. You know, Mark, you're gonna need one eventually, right? You're gonna want one. I know you're gonna get one. Just keep your eyes open. And even if you don't keep it, you scratch that itch. You try it out. If you bond with it, great. If you don't bond with it, you know, you sell it, move on. But at least you know whether or not it's right or not for you. I'm going to scroll down a little bit. Over here, I'm falling well behind. Tony, what is the name of the Italian company that makes the Marshall style amps again? You're talking about the Brunetti. This guy here? Brunetti. That one is called Brunetti Pleximan. I don't know if can I write it? Can I? Here, let me just type it here. Brunetti. Let me just Plexi-Man. All right. I don't know if you see that one. Brunetti Pleximan. Great guitar amplifier, very, very flexible. It gets you everything from a great pedal platform, clean, a regular Marshall and a hot rodded Marshall all in one amp. The only thing it doesn't offer is a reverb, but it's got enough flexibility built in to do everything else. It's a great sounding amplifier. 5-watt switch, 20-watt switch. It definitely could cover a lot of ground. Very loud. You know, it's a great overall amplifier. I don't think I'll sell it. They make great stuff. If you want to get something even better, and you got the cash, get the Mercury. Brunetti Mercury is crazy good. It's just that I already sold a kidney to get some other stuff, and I only have one more, and I can't sell it to get that Mercury. But that Mercury would definitely be on my hit list if money was not an object. Yeah, it has an effects loop, Julio. Yeah, it does. A good one too. And it's got a really nice pedal, a really nice foot switch as well. It's on my pedal board. I can't take it out to show you, but it's got, you can switch between channels and you can do a lot of great stuff with it. And it's surprisingly not that expensive. Thanks for swinging by, St. Brando. Thanks, buddy. Sell a lung. Yeah. I don't know if I want to sell a lung. But I might eventually. Speaking of selling lungs, did you guys hear the funny story that was posted online? I came across this and I couldn't really believe it. But apparently there was a story about some guy that was fleecing an elderly lady and using her credit card, and ended up buying 11 Gibson Les Pauls, and he got caught. Did you guys hear about this story? It's crazy. It's just crazy to me. What's crazy to me is that in the article, remember, there's 11 Gibson Les Pauls, and he says that, it says in the article that they were worth about $17,000. Now, how are 11 Les Pauls worth $17,000 bucks? Now, unless this guy was getting some really good deals, I don't see how he was getting them for $17,000 because generally nowadays, what the Les Pauls are like $2,500 minimum times 11. Something doesn't add up. Did you guys hear about this? Anyways, he ended up getting caught, and yeah, apparently the poor old lady was getting fleeced by this guy. It's pretty crazy, don't you find? I don't know what this world's coming to. But I'd like to know where he's getting the Gibsons. That was the first thing that popped into my mind. Isn't that weird? Anyways, Mike says, I run my Super Reverb around volume 4 or 5 at home. I'm wondering how much louder a Studio Plexi will be and if I'll be able to use it at home. Well, Mike, I can give you my opinion on that. The Studio Plexi, thankfully, has the ability to switch down, okay? But it's still very loud. It's a great pedal platform, in my opinion. If you want it to get into the crunch territory, you can get it into crunch territory, but it's still loud. Even though it's 20 watts, people think, it's a lot less than 50 watts. It's loud, dude. It's loud. So, you know, I've been running that amp with an attenuator, just to give you an idea, to be able to get some nice drive sounds just from the amp. Now, if you're using pedals, you can manage to get lower volumes on it. That's one of the reasons why I like the Brunetti and the Friedman a little more, just because it has more flexibility, because both of those amps have a master volume. So you can get a good saturation at lower volumes. The Friedman has a great master volume built in. You can get some really nice sounds at very low volumes. But the Studio Plexi is still loud. So Jeff says, I got an Origin 20. Such a great amp. It's a shame I've hardly used it. Might actually sell it. I could do with selling a few things. Yeah, me too, man. Me too. I'm actually going to be probably selling a guitar today. As I mentioned last week, I'm in kind of a spring cleaning mode. And I sold a guitar last week, and I'm going to sell another guitar probably today. I got somebody interested in another. I have a hollow body guitar here that is mint condition. But I don't play it all that much. And I already have a couple of other hollow body guitars. So obviously out with the old and with the new kind of thing. And I'm, you know, it's okay. You know, you have to kind of make room sometimes. What kind of attenuator are you using? And is it awesome? Is it awesome? It's actually the attenuator. Do I have it here? I think I put it away. I don't usually I have it on the amp, but I haven't been using it that much lately. Bulgara is the one that's making the attenuator. It's a very inexpensive one. I've tried Weber's and all other kinds of attenuators, which are good too, but more expensive. And I didn't want to spend that much money, so I got some good feedback out of people telling me the Bulgara stuff was good. So I tried it, and it is good, and it's only about $100, like used. So I ended up picking one up, and that's the one I'm using for that. I don't know, Ed, if they were tributes. They must have been, because, I mean, what else could they be, right? Studios, which seems kind of weird, like you go to that trouble to buy studios, but yeah, maybe. I don't know. I can't really justify the logic behind that, unless for some reason he was using the credit card to buy these Gibsons used. You know, maybe he was getting some good deals that way. I'm not really sure. But yeah, it's really weird. I'm seriously thinking about getting an FM9, guys. You know, we're talking about amps, and I'm very happy with the amps that I have here. The amps that I have here really get me quite far. So again, the Pleximan, Fender Supersonic 22, Marshall Studio Plexi, Friedman, Dirty Shirley, and out of the shot you can't see it here, but I also have a Black Star Jared James Nichols combo amp. Really good sounding amps. They all do their own thing really well. But as I've been using a lot of multi-effects lately, and not expensive ones, the Ampero, Hotone, and a few others, I've been kind of getting back into the advantages of using a multi-effects unit. And I said, man, if I'm going to go through the trouble of sort of swinging back into the multi-effects world, and that, don't get me wrong, guys, I wouldn't sell my amps. It's just, I like the flexibility of having both. I figured, why not get the FM9? The FM9 is the Fractal floor unit. And the only reason I haven't gotten one yet is they're out of stock. You can't find them. There's a waiting list right now because of the shortage, the component shortage. I don't know if things have cleared up, to be honest with you. I haven't checked recently on the Fractal website. But let me just check here, just out of curiosity. Let me know if any of you actually have one of these, or if well, you probably don't have them because they're not available. But if you've used a Fractal, not the FM9, but maybe the version 8 that was out before. So here on the website it says, let's see here. Are there any notices? It says, please see our store for details about the FM9 availability in the US and Canada. If you would like to join the wait list to be notified when an FM9 is available for you, please send an email. And it's waitlist@fractalaudio.com. So it seems to me like they're still not shipping very... Oh man, that sucks. It says here $1,599, and it says availability. The FM9 is now shipping, but we are temporarily sold out due to incredible demand during a global semiconductor shortage. We continue to employ a first-come, first-served waitlist to be notified when an FM9 is available to you. Please email waitlist@fractalaudio.com with the subject FM9 waitlist. We will mail you when your name comes to the top of the list. Because there are many variables, we are not able to estimate how long the waitlist will be. As of March 2022, last month, it is expected to be several months before invitations resume. If you have any questions, please contact. That sucks. So several months. So that was in March. So now we're in April, May, June, July. Thinking maybe fall is when you probably get your hands on one of these things. That really sucks, man. Because I really would love to have one of these things. So what am I supposed to do in the meantime? I guess what I'm going to do is I'm going to tweak the heck out of the Ampero and the Hotone units that I have here and maximize whatever I can do with them till they start shipping again. Okay, let's go back to some questions here. Tony, the Bulgara is great, $100. I have a look at the Audio Storm stuff for attenuators. I used the Bulgara PS1 on my Blues Junior. I heard those Bulgara attenuators were good. I had a Weber Mass 150. Gussie, I had a Weber Mass 2 in the past, and honestly, they work really similarly. I wouldn't necessarily say one is better than the other. Maybe in terms of longevity, probably the Weber stuff would be better, but I can't really say because none of them failed on me yet. So I don't want to be rude and say that one is better than the other. Crushman wants to know what my favorite fretboard wood is. I tend to like the rosewood necks. But I do have some guitars that have the maple. But if you look at what's behind me, and these are not all my guitars, by the way, guys. These are just what I have here. Let's have a look. We'll do a survey, okay? So we have rosewood, maple. Okay, so let's see how many rosewood. So we have 1 rosewood here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 of the guitars here are rosewood. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And 6 of them are maple. So it's close. I mean, there's other guitars that I have with maple necks, but I think the rosewood is leading the pack in my collection. I kind of like rosewood. So maybe that answers your question. So Paul says, Tony, your attenuator is an exact replica, part for part, of a Jet City JS1 designed by Mike Soldano. Mine had mine for years, zero problems. Yeah, I was aware of that, actually. Yeah, I think Soldano sold probably the schematics or the rights to use the schematics to Bugera. So, you know, it seems to be solid to me. I don't have any issues with it so far. John says, never could understand the controversy over it. For a $500 all-tube Marshall like this, Origin can't be beat. Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's pretty inexpensive. But again, there is controversy over that particular amplifier. BC Rich says, Jet City gear was great. I hope that their comeback is successful, although it seems to be slow going there. Yeah, I had a Jet City at 1.2. Excuse me. That amp had a lot of gain, though, I have to say. And it wasn't a bad amplifier, but it had a lot of gain. It was a little too aggressive for my liking, and it wasn't getting squishy enough for the kind of drive sounds I was after. So that's why I didn't wasn't a keeper for me. Yeah, Gussie, it is a pretty good deal. And Jeff says that Jet City is actually recommended by Victory Amps in their amps user manuals. I don't see any issues with it, Jeff. Surfer by, no, those are not all my guitars. No, there's more. There's more. Fat Philosopher likes Ebony. I like Ebony too. I think Ebony makes some really... Ebony, especially in acoustic guitars. I like that a lot. Dan of New Jersey says, I have a question. I was thinking about an octave pedal, but I'm concerned that the low octaves would damage my speakers. Any experience with problems related to this? I don't think so, Dan. I don't think you're going to have any issues with the low octaves damaging your speakers. They're usually, I mean, it's the wattage is what counts, right? If you're going to blow a speaker, they're going to be able to handle it. I wouldn't worry about it. Gussie prefers rosewood too. Ebony is nice, says Surfer by. Gussie says, yeah, Ebony on my 76 Les Paul Custom is sweet. Let's see here. Fat Philosopher says, I didn't see a problem. Maybe just don't crank the amp too loud when using the pedal. Should be fine. Should be fine. So what else, guys? What else are we going to talk about today? I have a couple more minutes. I'm going to slowly... Well, we're still good. It's only 11. It's not even 11:15 yet. So I'm okay with staying with you guys and talking a little bit more. One thing I wanted to kind of vent about, and you guys can give me your opinion on this. When you buy music today, first of all, do you guys still buy music? Everybody's streaming music. I find that the streaming services have kind of killed the love for listening to music. And it's kind of sad because, it used to be a big event, at least for me. It's, you walk in, you think about the music that you want. You walk into the music store, you try the record shop, the CD place, whatever, and you hope that they have it. It's almost like an outing. You go out specifically to buy music, and it was like, it made music more important to me. It just like, wow, check out this album. You discuss it with your friends before buying something, just to make sure you're buying the right album. You do your research and stuff like that. And it was like so much more interesting, and it became so much more, it was so important. Nowadays with the streaming services, it's like it's throwaway, like we have access to so much in our phones that we're spoiled, right? We can get it instantly. We don't have to work for it. We don't listen to an entire what we call album anymore. You're lucky if you get past the first 30 or 40 seconds of a song before you're bored and you switch to something else. It's a shame, it really is. And you're looking at the liner notes and the artwork, and you kind of like squeeze out every ounce of enjoyment out of an album. And nowadays, you don't, there's, I couldn't tell you what an album cover looks like really, because you don't really see them anymore. You don't get that love, you don't get that that fulfillment out of it. It's sad, It's really like, it's the same. I mean, the parallel to that is video stores. Video stores, you wanted to watch a video, you wanted to watch a movie, you had to make a decision. You had to get up off your ass. You had to walk to your video store. You had to have a membership there, but you'd go there and you'd look at the, all those the video cassettes on the wall, and hope that the one that you wanted was available, wasn't out, right? Otherwise you have to walk home with something else that you weren't planning to watch, which would be a disappointment. You get to see the people looking at stuff. You get to smell the popcorn in the store. It was cool. It was like you had to take time out of your day and actually put some effort into it. Same thing with records. Nowadays, that's gone, right? So it's like, it's almost like there's no value to it anymore. You used to be proud and used to have a nice collection. Like I have probably on the side here, you can't see this, but I have a rack of CDs. I probably have a couple thousand CDs here. Which I put a lot of effort into selecting, buying, and enjoying. And nowadays, they're pretty much useless, right? What am I going to do with them? I have way more in my phone, so it's kind of like, I don't know, man. It's like we have the luxury of convenience, but at the same time, we don't appreciate what we have anymore. You know what I mean? We're not investing. If you go out and buy a record, it costs you money. If you go out and buy a CD, it costs you money. You work for that money. So you make an educated thought, you research it, and you want to build something of value. Nowadays, we don't value it anymore because we think it's free, right? It's right here and we can have it anytime we want. So now what do? How do we get that back, guys? How do you get it back? What's next? Where is it going to go? I don't know, man. I don't know. I like to hear your point of view on that. Just let me hear your, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I don't know, I'm old school. But, I had to vent, guys. I had to get off my chest. EF says, I started to record a collection of my favorite albums of all time. I started a record collection of my favorite albums of all time. Okay, sorry. I read that wrong. Yeah, but Ed, EF, you have it here. You have every single album from every single artist. You know what I mean? So it's great that you're doing that. It's fantastic that you're actually taking the effort into doing that. But what I'm saying is that how do you compete with this in your pocket? John says, Tony, oh my God, 100% right. I miss that. I miss vinyls. Yeah, John, and vinyls with all their little defects and, the crackles and the pops and all that still sounded better in my opinion because of the warmth of it. They didn't, I don't know. There's perfection, but then there's also the human aspect of certain things. Surferby says, I don't buy. Video killed the radio star and streaming killed the music. Yeah, I believe it did. The cellular phone killed music, man. John D says 70s going to a record store and buying an album for $3.99. Yeah. You know, I still remember the first album I ever bought. Do you remember the first song you ever streamed on your phone? I bet you don't. You know? I don't know, man. Simon says, I just built my green guitar. Simon, what guitar was that? Refresh my memory, dude. I don't know if you told me what it was, but please refresh my memory. I talk about so many different guitars. I don't always remember which one you're referring to. Keith says, anyone here ever had an ART processor from the early 90s? I have one, has 4 banks, over 100 effects per bank, but can't remember how to change banks. One bank had band sounds, one effects, etc. Sorry, dude, I never had an ART processor. I can't help you with that. Maybe someone else can. Yeah, Surferby, I totally agree. The anticipation of a new album is gone. It's true. You know, it used to be a big event. EF says, when you listen to vinyl, you listen to more than one song. You sit and listen to an entire side as an active listener. And that's one of the things that I find is missing now. When an artist creates an album, they create it in a certain way that all the songs on the album are selected specifically to be on that album for a reason. There's a mood, there's a sense of like belonging, and you know, when you take a song out of context and you don't listen to it in the context of an album, sometimes it doesn't work as much. I mean, Pink Floyd is an obvious example of that. You know, when you listen to Wish You Were Here, Dark Side of the Moon, all these albums, they're made to listen to the entire album, one song after another. They flow into each other. There's a general theme. And when you just listen to one particular song, stream that song, you don't get that anymore. So you're losing that. Joseph says, I was born in 1995, but I can relate to a portion of this from the 2000s. Yeah, a lot of the younger people don't get it because they've never experienced that. So maybe this is just an old fart kind of venting here. I don't know how many other old farts there are here. So I guess the point of view would change depending on your age. Fat Philosopher says, disagree, Tony. Streaming services saves me money so I can buy more gear. Also, lots of those 80 albums were rip-offs with only 1 or 2 good songs on them. All right, you have a point. If you're listening to albums that really have only 1 or 2 good songs on them, you know, there's that. I don't know which artists you're referring to, but yeah, I understand what you're saying. I get it. It saves you money, but you don't own anything. You know what I mean? Yeah, you know, like I subscribe to Apple Music. Yeah, I do pay for it. It's not extremely expensive for the amount of actual streaming that you have. But at the same time, you never really own anything, right? Once you cancel your subscription, all you got is air, you know? So it saves you money as long as you don't ever stop subscribing. Simon says, Tony, what about cassette? I don't know, Simon. I used to pirate a lot of stuff when I was not pirate. I mean, you know, I never sold the stuff, but I used to record a lot of stuff on cassette. You know, that was the cheap way of getting a nice collection of music that I could enjoy without having to spend a fortune. I just watched an old video of Neil Young in a record store and he steals his own album, a priceless video. Never saw that one, Wayne. Thanks for letting me know. I got to check that out. DMAC says, I still make the effort to go to record stores. I've been still buying CDs and vinyl. So you're the one. DMAC is taking it upon his shoulders to single-handedly keep the CD and vinyl businesses afloat. I'm only joking, D-Mac. Actually, vinyl keeps on every year increasing in popularity. And I'm not going to say they're doing extremely well in terms of compared to streaming, but compared to CDs, they seem to be getting more popular again. People are switching over to records as opposed to CDs. Thomas says, not all was great back then. I once in the 90s bought 6 or 7 Frank Zappa CDs just for the looks of the covers. Wasn't the smartest thing I did. With YouTube now, you get the entire live shows, etc. for free. Yeah, if if any of you were interested in the bootlegs, because I remember going to some stores where they had a whole entire bootleg section of like records, and those were always quite popular as well. Now, yeah, you can get a lot of that stuff right on YouTube. Joseph says, I was born in 1995, but I prefer your generation. Despite being from a modern generation, I think old school is always the purest value of intelligence. Well, thank you for that, Joseph. Thank you. Fat Philosopher says, adapt or die. Gussie says, you're nostalgic, Tony. Those were great memories. Keep them alive in your memory. You know, one of the things that I enjoy and I really do cherish in terms of a memory, Gussie, was inviting my friends over to listen to albums. You know, we would buy an album. We weren't the richest kids, so we couldn't afford extensive collections. But, I had a few, my friends had a few, and we would get into each other's basements, put on the record, and actually listen to music together. You know what I mean? I don't know how many kids do that today. Like socially enjoy music. Now it's like an individual thing. You got your earbuds in, you're listening to your music. I have my playlist, you have your playlist, and let's leave it at that. But in my day, we would enjoy, we would talk about the music. We would even have arguments as to, my band's better than your band, this guitarist is better than that guitarist, your band sucks, We used to do that all the time. I don't know if kids still do that today. I don't really think they do. When new music was a gamble, yeah. Your band, your favorite band came out with an album, you would buy the album and hope it was good. Otherwise, your friends would make fun of you, Ben makes a good point. I agree, but when the power grid goes down, you'll be glad to have the real deal, whatever it may be. Hey, I still have CD players in my house, and I still have my CDs. So if anything does happen to the power grid, God forbid, I'm okay. I got my music. Jeff wants to know favorite mini pedal distortion Marshall in a box. Why does it have to be mini, Jeff? My favorite Marshall in a box is not a mini pedal, and it's a pedal that I built. General Guitar Gadgets has a pedal that they sell as a kit. You can always buy it and have them build it for you. It's not that expensive, and it's called Brown Sound in a Box 2, and that's one of my favorites. Sounds really good. If you're really looking at that Marshall sound, but it's not a mini pedal. Thanks for stopping by, Gene. Steve says, I got the bootleg series 1 to 5 from Justin Johnson on CD and ordered the new John Gum CD and LP. The faintest idea CDs make you listen and remember. Yeah. Actually, I still have a CD player in my truck. So actually, maybe I'll move some of my CD collections into my truck. God knows the music on the radio sucks nowadays. So Simon says it was a green ESP Super Strat guitar that he built. Yes, I remember now, Simon. So it's done. How did it come out? Any challenges? Any advice? Any tips on that guitar? Rush 2112. Yeah, great album. The industry doesn't want you to sign new artists, doesn't want to sign new artists and promote them. Radio stations won't play new artists. The only way they can get play and make a little revenue is through streaming services, yeah, or YouTube. Believe it or not, a lot of artists are automatically being plucked out of their basements because they're getting such great views. They're becoming a phenomenon on their own, and then get plucked out of the being an unknown by the companies. Andy McKee. I don't know if you guys know Andy McKee. If you guys are into kind of new age acoustic, he's a really unique acoustic guitar player. He does a lot of tapping when he plays, and very unique style. He became popular through YouTube. He was playing his music on YouTube and was getting millions of views, and eventually got signed to a record deal, and now he's like a very popular name out there. So you never know. It could happen to you, man. Surfer By says you couldn't make an album like Dark Side of the Moon today and be successful. Tommy, right? Tommy from The Who, that album, that's kind of the same idea. It's a story, right? It's a rock opera. Could you make an album like that? Probably not. All those old songs that, those jam influenced songs that would last 12 minutes, you can't play those on the radio anymore. It's very rare that you can get airtime for those type of things. So you're gonna be. William says, I listened to Andy McKee. Check out when Dobson if you like Andy. I like a lot of stuff from Andy. I'll check it out, William. Yeah. Ewan Dobson. That's the name of the album. Old artists don't get breaks on the radio either. They play their old stuff, but newer releases don't get any playtime. Yeah, guys like Steve Vai. Steve Vai is a virtuoso. How many times do you hear a radio station playing Steve Vai stuff? How many times on the radio do you hear a radio station playing Joe Satriani stuff? Amazing artists, and don't really get a lot of airtime. You know what I mean? Yeah. Presley, California Custom says, I'm up to 16 followers on YouTube, so look out. You never know. Don't joke. You never know, man. Things happen. The thing about streaming is it's not tangible. You can't touch it and look at it like a CD or a vinyl. It's a touching thing. Well, yeah, it's a touching thing, but it's also owning something. What you're owning is the right to play something, that's not tangible. It's in the air. You don't have anything in your pocket. You're spending your money, but you're not really getting anything except the enjoyment of listening to it at one time. It's kind of like radio, which was free. You'd get to hear the music, but you can't put it in your pocket. You can't bring it to your friend's house. You can't share it or show it to anybody. So at the end of the day, yeah, you're paying, but you're not getting anything beyond the enjoyment aspect of it. And let's face it, the artists are getting taken for a ride because they're not getting anything. They're getting paid fractions of a penny per stream. So I think they're getting the short end of the stick. And that's probably part of the reason why a lot of the artists are now having to tour again. Because, they're making their money through selling shirts and stuff in a live situation and selling tickets and getting, bums in the seats because they're not really going to get much out of the streaming unless you're a mega superstar, Okay, I couldn't dare to write and publish classic rock style songs. I wouldn't dare to write and publish classic rock style songs. You probably get sued the hell out of you because similar songs are already all over the place. It's a tricky thing, Tom. It's for sure. A lot of people are getting sued. But it's hard to sue somebody unless it's a blatant ripoff. There's some songs that we will admit sound very, very similar, and we know they're ripoffs, and they still manage to kind of work their way out of the lawsuit. So Steve has another suggestion. He says, if you like Andy McKee, check out John Gome. I think you will like him. All right, I'll check him out, sure. Thanks for that suggestion. Cool, cool, cool. My dad's friend helped me make an amp using an AM radio out of a car. Made a big wooden box in a wood shop. A big speaker even could plug into a car cigarette lighter. It was so great. That's pretty cool. Did you guys... Sorry, let me take a sip here. That reminds me, Keith. First of all, when I was young and I couldn't afford an amp, and I did have a guitar, I did try and plug in my Ibanez Roadstar, I think it was at the time, into my stereo system, which probably was not the smartest thing to do. I don't think my stereo system was actually designed to play, but I could actually get sounds out of the speakers, and that was that was a crazy stupid thing to do. But you know, hey, it worked, so don't knock it. There was something else I wanted to, now that you're talking about your car radio / amplifier, the Mini, the Aston, the car, the Mini, the British car, well, they have a Mini remastered Marshall edition. This car is basically an amp themed car. So it's a Mini. It's black. It's got, you know, grill, kind of grill cloth, simulation grill cloth kind of front grill to the car. Has a Marshall logo on the side of it. It's got piping, like imitation piping, and it's basically their Marshall edition, which is basically the amp made to look a lot like a DSL-1 combo. You open up the trunk, there's actually a DSL combo in the back of the trunk. If you guys should check this out. Just Google it, and it's pretty crazy. It's got like even the inside, the leather seating has the Marshall logo on the seats, and it's got, you know, the piping inside. Like, look, it basically is made to look very similar to the styling of a Marshall amplifier, but it's actually a Mini. It's a guitar. It's a car. So if you guys are really interested in getting that amp themed car, you can get this car and ride it around your neighborhood and show how you're crazy about amps. It's only $131,000, by the way. So I don't know if this is like, if Marshall's getting royalties out of this. Maybe they are, but it's kind of weird. But it does have an amp in the trunk. You can open it up. It's not in the trunk. It's actually built into it. So there's actually a location for it inside the trunk. Check it out. It's pretty nuts. It's pretty crazy, man. All right, guys. I think we're gonna wrap it up. We're getting to about an hour and 40 minutes in. I think I've yapped enough. We'll save some for next Sunday. And, so I don't bore everybody, but I'm glad that you guys tuned in. You know, we had 60 odd people on the show today. There was a lot of new faces, a lot of new names, which I appreciated. I love to see new names, new faces here. I like the interaction. You guys are super at, getting the conversation going and keeping it going. And that's what I like. You know, I don't want the show to be me talking to you. I want to be talking together. And that's generally what we're trying to achieve here. And I think we did it again this Sunday. So a big thank you to all of the viewers out there. Thank you for participating in the Sunday chat. My favorite day of the week, Sunday. So if you guys want to tune in again, we'll be here next Sunday. Please, please, please pay attention, because there will be some interesting things happening. I have 2 giveaways lined up. All right. There's going to be something special happening. 2 different items that we're going to be doing draws for. I'm giving you guys the heads up because you're always here. So pay attention to that. There'll be more information on that coming up soon. And you'll have an opportunity to win some cool stuff. All right. So big thumbs up to everybody. Have a great Sunday. Have a great Easter. Enjoy yourself. Don't eat too much. Don't overdo it. Don't overindulge. And remember to play your guitar, all right? Save your comments and questions for next week. Write them down in case you forget so you come prepared. And we'll make sure that we answer all of your questions, all right? Big thumbs up, guys. Thank you. Take care. See you next Sunday.